Good morning, good morning. Here we are, day 4. Deep breath for day 4. Day 4 is all about facing our fears. Okay, so what does facing our fears mean? For me, this is a practice that I learned, and I call it the little voices. So whenever we say, we started figuring out how to get creative and what our inspiration is and how to create more time, but now we go, okay, I have an idea, I am going to what? So even with creating an inspired idea or an inspired habit or ritual that we talked about yesterday, so say you go, I am going to create a ritual of walking in the morning. What does your little voice in your head say? Does it say, yeah, right, you never create, you never do something every day, or who do you think you are that you're actually going to walk? Listen to these little voices. So many coaches, therapists, new age people, positive talk people talk about just keep saying, affirmations are all based on this. Affirmations are based on ignoring the little voices and only repeating the positive. I can guarantee you your affirmation will never work if you do not acknowledge the little voices in your head. So, how do we acknowledge them, and what do we do to help them change what they're saying to us? This is a really big part of the coaching that I do when I work one-on-one with women, and it's even a part of the group dynamic that I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow that is going to be available starting tomorrow. So if you feel like you're starting to get a little bit of momentum, or you're starting to get kind of like more possibility of, wow, maybe I can live a little bit more inspired and less in the overwhelm, I'm going to have something that I'm going to share with you guys tomorrow all about what that could entail. So our little voices, when we talk about change, whenever we talk about changing anything, even to decluttering and changing the look of our house, the second we say, all right, I'm done, this is chaos, I'm going to declutter, the voice in your head, well, how long do you think that's going to last? Do you really think you can keep up being organized all the time? Our little voices are so persistent, so good at what they do, because they want to keep us small. It's not their fault. It's not. Being small and staying safe is our little voice's whole purpose. And when we stay small and we stay safe and in our comfort zone, we won't get hurt. But you know what we will get? We will get very frustrated. We will be very dissatisfied in life. And often we lose our connection with spirit, with inspiration, inspiration. When we are living a life of comfortableness and playing small and tiptoeing through life, making sure that we're not getting, we're not pushing anybody or stepping on anybody's toes, that is when we lose our inspiration. So good morning. If you're joining live, I'd love for you to just type in hi so I know you're here and I can see you. And so what is a little voice that you hear? I would love to have you type in when you say, I am going to start helping other women learn how to live a healthy lifestyle. What does that little voice say? I know what mine would say. It would say, you do not have the perfect healthy lifestyle. How dare you think that you can help anybody else? So I'll just use my own example. In Magical Mothering, when I I am still human. So say I have a frustrating day and I yell and I'm like, stop! Do you know what my little voice says? How dare you call yourself the magical mother? You're not being very magical right now. And then the guilt and the shame and all of those things start sinking in. And that crushes me. And then I go, you're right. How am I supposed to help anybody else if I'm not perfect? And the goal of this whole thing is not perfection. The goal of life is not perfection. The goal of anything that we are dreaming towards and creating is inspiration. Do you inspire either yourself through your actions or other people? That's really like what our cohabitation is meant to be about, is inspiring and connecting and relating. And the more that we realize that it is not about being perfect, and our little voices are going to tell us that that is exactly what it is. So a great way that I've really been able to shift the little voices in my own head is through tapping. And tapping, or it's also called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and I use it a little bit differently than how it is usually used. Go ahead. How it is usually used, like if you look up YouTube videos about tapping, they do it a bit differently. For me, I like to get straight in there. I like to just tap right on the things that need tapping. So with tapping, you start with the negative. So you would start at the top of your head, right in the middle. You can actually take your ear and your index finger and that point right in the middle, okay? So you just gently tap, and you would say something like, I'm feeling really guilty about yelling at my kids, okay? So this is one. And then you would go to the inner eyebrow, and you'd say, I'm so tired of yelling at my kids. Outside of the eye, right here, right outside the eye. Why can't they just listen? Right? This is such a common, like, little voices. Under the eye, if they just listened, I wouldn't have to yell. And for all of the unschooling moms, even we get frustrated, right? And, while we don't want to control our children, there are times of frustration, and we can't deny that. So, and when we deny that frustration, that's when it gets bigger. Under the nose, right here in the dimple, I'm so tired of yelling. On the chin, other people don't yell at their kids, right? I'm the only one who yells at my kids. It's so frustrating. Right? Because we don't see other people and what they're going through. So, and then the collarbone. So here's your collarbone right here, and you're going to go right under the collarbone and just tap in the soft spot. And even if you don't remember any of the other points, this under the collarbone one will start releasing and relaxing you. Even if you just tap on this one and just talk about all your angst. I'm so angry! Even if you just have to do that while tapping, get out the negative. And then under the arm is like right where your bra strap would be if you wear one, and under the arm there. And you just tap gently right there. And this is the last point. And, why does life have to be so frustrating? So just talk about the negative. Talk about the negative feelings that you feel while tapping on these points. And so you'd go back to the top of the head for what is called the second round. So you'd go back to the top of your head, and you'd start putting in your positives. So one of them might be, can I think about this differently? And then you'd go to the inner eye. Me yelling could be looked at as me expressing my feelings. And then outside of the eye, is there a way that I could express my feelings differently than yelling? Under the eye, I'm ready to try something new. And even just putting in, tapping while saying, is there another way, or I'm ready to try something new, will help your brain start thinking of other possibilities. And even if you can't think of other possibilities, go into the Magical Mothering Facebook group and say, look, I'm getting really frustrated and I seem to be turning to yelling or this or that. Can you guys give me some other useful tools or techniques? And they're out there, and sometimes we can't think of them. So, under the nose, I'm ready to learn how to express my feelings in a different way rather than yelling. And on the chin, I'm ready to try something new. You know, I'm going to start painting or going straight to my journal and throwing all my ideas in there. Or I'm ready to run outside and put my hands on a tree like Stephanie the hippie always does. You know, I just run outside when I'm feeling really frustrated. I run outside and I place my hands onto trees and I push all my frustration and anger and feelings into that tree for a good 1 minute. And I push, and then I ask for the tree to give me back energy. And it's like this wave of energy that comes into me. And somebody asked in the Magical Mothering group whether pushing our feelings into the tree is bad for the tree or if it's going to hurt the tree. And, you know, I like to think of the trees and the plants around us as we breathe out carbon dioxide, that's what they breathe in. So all of like the stuff that we no longer need, when we release that, the trees and the plants absorb that, recycle it and use it for their own energy, and then push out what is beneficial to us. So that kind of has helped me, where I've never seen, if you're speaking like hatred into the tree and talking to the tree in that way, but you're not, you're really giving the tree your energy and asking the tree for help, which has a completely different intention to it than if you were speaking negatively about the tree. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because the intention... Okay, that's good, thank you. The intention that we have when talking to trees and those around us. I mean, if you were to scream at your dog, and yell at him, totally different energy than when you're pushing energy, all your frustration into the tree, and you are literally asking the tree for help. Help. These are the feelings I'm feeling right now. Help me. Help shift these. Please change these feelings and give me back different feelings. The tree is literally, from what I've received and from what I understand, the tree is honored that we as humans come to the tree and ask for help. The tree people love and want to help us and want to give us their energy, and yet we have lost that connection with them. So if that resonates with you, creating the attention to give, and then to just ask for help from the trees, from the plants, it's a powerful exchange, and it is one that is very amazing. So, tapping, tree exchange, and there's many others, which I would love to hear how you deal with your little voices, whether you've even acknowledged them before, or whether you have never thought about that, but acknowledging the negative. When we acknowledge the negative, which is a very opposite approach to the positive New Age kind of thoughts with affirmations. Affirmations, positive thinking, autosuggestion will not work until we acknowledge the negative and shift it. Which is why I think so many people don't realize why they're not getting their dream life manifested. Because they're still having the same little voices going, you're poor, you're broke, how are you going to help anybody? You know what I mean? All of these little voices that take over, unless you acknowledge them and shift them and reframe them, the positive thoughts will not start happening. So, I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Post away in the Facebook group. I love all the women that are joining in this magical mothering tribe and connecting and sharing, and let's just create more growth, more passion, more of everything, more of this magical life. So I'm so glad that you guys are with me and that you guys are joining in on this really fun adventure that we're on over the next, tomorrow will be the last day, and we'll finish up tomorrow, and then I will share how we can continue together in this amazing growth and inspired action process. So peace and blessings to all of you, and I will talk with you all soon. Bye-bye.